Hello, everybody. Hello, Professor. I hope you've had a good day so far. My project was the effects of classical music on focus and studying. Basically, I wanted to look at whether classical music actually helps people study better, or if it's just something people assume works. A lot of students, including myself, use music while studying or working. So I was curious what the research actually says about it and if there's any real benefit behind it. The first main idea is how classical music affects academic performance. A big concept here is something called the Mozart effect. This is the idea that listening to Mozart, or classical music in general, can make you smarter or improve your test scores. It got really popular, but research today shows that it's not that simple. It's not like you can just listen to Mozart and suddenly do better on exams. What studies actually show is that music can help or hurt depending on the situation. For example, it might help with simpler or repetitive tasks, but if you're doing something really complex, like reading or writing, it can actually become distracting. It also depends on the person. Some people focus better with music, and others need absolute silence to study or get stuff done. The second big idea is focus. This is where classical music actually seems to help the most. One reason is that most classical music is instrumental, so it doesn't have lyrics competing with your thoughts. It might make it easier to concentrate, especially when you're reading or trying to process information. A specific type that gets mentioned a lot is Baroque music. Baroque music is roughly from the 1600s to the early 1750s. We base it around Bach's Bach's death, which I believe was 1750. That's when they say that Baroque music ended, or the Baroque period ended, sorry. And it's known for having a steady tempo and its very structured patterns. A really well-known example would be something like Bach's Brandenburg concertos, which are phenomenal, and I love listening to them and studying with them. Because of that steady rhythm, Baroque music can be a kind of guide and focus and help you stay on task longer. It also creates a calm environment, which makes studying feel less stressful overall. The third idea is how music actually affects the brain. One key term here is neuroplasticity, which basically means the brain's ability to change and adapt over time. So when you learn something new, your brain is forming and strengthening connections. This happens all the time in adolescence, especially during puberty and that age from going from a child to a young adult to a fully grown mature adult, which ends about at 25. Research shows that music, including classical music, can support this process. It can also strengthen those connections, which may improve learning and memory over time. Another big factor is stress. We're all stressed. We're college students. It's final time. Classical music has been shown to lower stress levels, which is important because when you're less stressed, it's easier to focus and actually absorb information. So it's not just about what you're hearing, it's about how your brain and body respond to it. In conclusion, classical music can definitely help with studying, but it's not a full one-size-fits-all solution. It can improve focus, create a better study environment, and even support how your brain processes information. But at the same time, it really depends on the person, the type of task, and the type of music you're listening to. One thing that could be interesting for future research, which I initially attempted to do this, but realized it was a whole other field of research that I did not have time for, would be which composer or style is the best for studying and why. So, in the end, classical music isn't some magic trick, but if you use it the right way, it can actually be a really, really useful tool. Me personally, my favorite musicians to listen to while composing are Mozart, Bach, and Chopin. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. But I hope you all have a great summer.